Anything you can get the stars and the moon. You know when I'm with you on my best. Look your best when you undress, girl. Love when your hair pressed, girl. Got you not scratching. You know you're fine, know you pressure, girl. You and us, take your time and got it. Tell me nothing about my little fine shit. She keep it tight and right. Sometimes I still be have to find it. Ooh, your body got me lusting all over you. Baby, stop all that crying and just tell them you're lying. They say you will get what you want in due time, and I caught you in your prime. I done had fake love, that real love was hard to find. She ain't got my name written on her body, she ain't one of mine. Not the only one calling her bad. Everybody like, ooh. Every time my body touch her, she held me like, ooh. Every time I'm looking at her, already treat her like it ain't hard to tell she special. She hate it when I leave, she say I raise her blood pressure. Grown woman, it's off for me, not the extra text, not check, girl. Even though she only fucking me, she still go and get a check, girl. Anything you can get the stars and the moon. You know when I'm with you on my best. Look your best when you undress, girl. Love when your hair pressed, girl. Got you not scratching, know you're fine, know you pressure, girl. You and us, take your time and got it. Tell me nothing about my little fine shit. She keep it tight and right. Sometimes I still be have to find it. Ooh, your body got me lusting all over you, girl. She hate it, she can't get my time.
As we follow this pursuit up PCH, California Highway Patrol, on the tail of this Chrysler, silver Chrysler, with several people on board, including a couple of kids, as far as we could tell. You can see the sheriff's helicopter keeping a close eye overhead, as well as they have tracked this suspect from East LA in the Baldwin Park area through the city, all the way across town into West LA, through Santa Monica, and eventually onto the northbound side of PCH. As he refuses to pull over, they are treating this with kid glove care, as they are aware of those two children inside of the vehicle. And again, kidnapping is believed to be one of the charges, the alleged charges here in this case. So unclear whether this is a domestic situation or if these two kids were perhaps kidnapped off the street. We don't know those details at this point, but you can see it's relatively slow as we creep up past Temescal Canyon. We are in the Pacific Palisades. The driver weaving around traffic and refusing to pull over, although not driving at extreme speeds, only doing about 35, 40 miles per hour, which is relatively slow through this area, getting closer to Malibu here as we continue northbound on PCH. The sun is going down here along the coast. There are helicopters overhead. There are several black and whites right behind this suspect. If we widen out, we can give you an idea of the resources dedicated to this pursuit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 patrol cars, and again, with the assistance of that LA County Sheriff's airship, who is calling out the position of this chase. Again, not a lot of traffic on this holiday weekend here along PCH. Traffic is relatively light here as he goes through the red light. They're making their way through that red light with him here. But again, they are aware of those children, and for that reason, they have denied the request for a pit maneuver. They will not pit this vehicle and put those children in harm's way. So he's got some advantages here because of the charges involved. We don't know how much gas is in the tank, obviously, but we can see that it is difficult to see inside the vehicle to get any more intel. Those windows are pretty heavily tinted here as he continues northbound PCH. Continuing northbound PCH, California Highway Patrol, following at a safe distance here. Again, relatively manageable speed, especially for this part of town. You can see he's continuing straight up the coast here, refusing to pull over. Again, we do not know how many adults are in the vehicle, only that there are at least a couple of kids. We do not have an age of those children. Again, a lot of details still to be worked out here, but a complicated situation due to the fact that there are children involved in this pursuit. East LA Sheriff started this pursuit, California Highway Patrol taking it over, and the sheriff's helicopter again following this straight across town from Baldwin Park all the way out here. This did not start in Baldwin Park. Actually, it started in East LA. So the East LA County Sheriff's Department initiating this pursuit, again handing it off to California Highway Patrol along the 10 freeway. Took the 10 freeway straight across the entire city, and now you have California Highway Patrol, the primary agency here involved, and LA County Sheriff, again, following from above, as you can occasionally see the helicopter flying through the shot here. Again, he's going around traffic at manageable speeds here, but he has continued repeatedly blowing through red lights here. We should also say we don't know for a fact that it's a male, unknown the gender of the driver, but you can see very difficult to tell. In fact, at some point, Maury, maybe we can get in front of it. I know we have a lot of air traffic up here, but would love to take a peek through the front windshield at some point, if it's possible. But he's continuing northbound at about 50 miles per hour, passing Big Rock Drive here in Malibu. Again, it almost appears as though they have successfully prevented, they have basically, for all intents and purposes, created a traffic break behind him. So you won't see traffic coming up from behind him. It'll be curious to see if maybe they can also do the same thing ahead of him to keep innocent motorists out of harm's way here. But again, he is on the northbound side. Traffic, again, almost non-existent in both directions here. Copy that. Are they swapping out? Is there another one? Very good. Going to get our first glimpse here in just a second through the front windshield, and we'll hopefully get a better idea of the demeanor and description of the driver behind the wheel here. You can see those hands on the steering wheel. And it does sound like this is going to fall on those CHP units to maintain a visual of this suspect, because the LA County Sheriff's helicopter is about to make their way back to the sheriff's station for fuel. So the helicopter overhead is running out of gas. They're going to refuel, and again, it's going to be up to these half dozen or so California Highway Patrol units to keep the suspect within arm's reach here. So they're not going to give this up. They've shown every indication that they are dedicated to this pursuit. Again, a kidnapping suspect. Unclear whether there are any other charges or what other charges are involved here. If you look closely enough, you can see it appears to be a little boy in the passenger seat of the vehicle. Looks like a little boy in the passenger seat, coming up on a little bit of congestion as he makes his way further north here. We are now looking southbound, using the median to get around some of that traffic there. He's got the green light. He's going to continue through here as they continue this pursuit at a safe distance. But again, we're getting our first glimpse through the front windshield. Apologize for the exhaust there. We'll kind of crab along here and try and hold it steady, but you can see it does look like a male driver. I think that was that a male yeah, male driver and a little boy in the passenger seat coming around this cliff here. You broke up one more time. Copy that. Copy. So we're just getting some word in from our assignment desk that there's apparently a parent on the phone with law enforcement. Those two children were inside of the vehicle at the time that this vehicle was stolen. So this is a stolen vehicle, potentially carjacked from a parent with two children inside of the vehicle. The parent is telling law enforcement that there's about a half a tank of gas inside of this silver Chrysler, again, continuing to blow through these red lights here with at least a couple of children who you can only imagine must be scared to death. This is a stranger that is driving this vehicle. There are two children inside of this stolen vehicle, and this is a pursuit that will not end until California Highway Patrol can safely stop this vehicle and apprehend that suspect. There is almost no other way that this pursuit can end, and hopefully if the driving remains as safe and slow as it is, nobody will get hurt here. Hopefully they can reach that suspect and negotiate with that driver. But again, disturbing details now as we get word that this is a stolen vehicle with two children in the vehicle at the time this vehicle was stolen. So that really complicates things, and it really just amplifies the care that they are taking with this vehicle. You can only imagine that they are trying to learn whatever they can about that suspect, if at all possible. I'm sure they are working with more details surrounding the circumstances. It is distressing, to say the least, to learn that information. And as you see this pursuit continue up the Pacific Coast Highway, it's all starting to make a lot more sense. California Highway Patrol using extra caution here, and thankfully we can see that the driver is driving relatively safely, despite the fact that he has blown through a number of red lights. So hopefully that continues. Hopefully this is somebody that they can reason with, but it will not end until they apprehend the suspect and rescue those children. That is almost a sure thing at this point. There are a number of reasons, a number of factors that the watch commanders and supervisors take into consideration when they continue these pursuits, when to be more aggressive, when to use various tactics, and sometimes when to give up the pursuit altogether. We will not see them give this pursuit up with two innocent children inside of that car. You can take that one to the bank, and we'll continue to follow this as long as it takes, because obviously the circumstances here are just so just hard to imagine for the parent and of course the children inside the vehicle. But again, he's continuing up PCH here, crossing Webb Way at another red light here. There was, right past Malibu Colony here, there was talk earlier of a spike strip being prepared at the, as he kind of made his way towards Santa Monica, exiting off the 10 freeway. Perhaps we may see another spike strip attempt somewhere along PCH. It would not be surprising at all. The conditions appear optimal if they could set up ahead of the suspect and potentially deflate those tires and safely bring this to a slow crawl. So we'll see if that's in the cards here. But what I can tell you is that any talk of a pit maneuver has been tabled for now, considering the dangerous nature of that tactic. And obviously, with children on board, they likely will not pit that vehicle. Yeah. I'm actually we're scanning again here, trying to zero in, because it does look like I believe they've switched from the pink. Perhaps the teal, yeah. Continuing through another red light, northbound PCH. Scanner 1, and it does sound like there is talk of... All right, just past John Tyler Drive here, there is some talk now of a possible spike strip attempt. in the making here, perhaps a little further north along PCH. Something we're going to watch out for. We were just discussing that, and sure enough, it does sound like that might be the next tactic here to try and impede the suspect here. So if they could do that safely, that would be great. It'd be great to see them lay down a nice spike strip and poke those tires. But right now, that Chrysler is fully mobile and fully capable as it continues with about a half tank of gas. Again, this started in East LA, but probably still working with around a half a tank, I'd say, maybe a little less, obviously, at this point. That's the information that law enforcement is working with. So if nothing else, it'll eventually run out of gas. They could take this all the way up PCH if they need to. Unfortunately, darkness is going to start falling here in the next 20 minutes, but they have the resources in place. It is in a, it's on a safe highway here. You know, this is much better than chasing this guy through surface streets or a congested freeway. You're on PCH with very limited opportunity for him to turn off here and get lost. So I don't see them having a real problem maintaining a visual here, especially at these speeds. This should be a very simple wait and see game for them. They have time on their side. Right now, the airship that was assisting has pulled off for fuel. I imagine there is at least another airship probably on the way, or perhaps that airship will be heading back here with a full tank here as it gets dark. But California Highway Patrol, with at least a half a dozen units, making their way up PCH through Malibu here, and I imagine there will be additional CHP resources preparing to take over this pursuit as he gets up into the Ventura County area. That's going to be next here as we make our way up Malibu. Copy that. Coming up on Latigo Canyon Road as they continue northbound PCH, California Highway Patrol behind the suspect. It does sound like they may be getting some help from the LA County Sheriff's Department here by way of a spike strip setup a little further north here. We're going to try and keep an eye out for that as he continues up the coastline here. There are vehicles, or there's at least one vehicle. Oh, he just hit it. He just hit it. He just hit it. Let's see if that was successful. That was, I believe, a sheriff's SUV there that laid down that spike strip. So just as we were talking about, California Highway Patrol chasing the suspect, LA County Sheriff now laying down a nice spike, and he is picking up speed after running over that spike strip. It's unclear whether the tire struck the spike strip, but we will see if this vehicle behaves any differently, aside from the fact that he is now doubling his speed here as he makes his way northbound PCH and now braking for some reason. Well, you can imagine the reason now. He is much more agitated, and the vehicle appears to be behaving nominally thus far, but they did lay down a spike. He appeared to drive right over it, and we'll see if those tires start to wobble at all as they lose air. Hopefully, if he struck either side with the, if he struck the spike strip with either side of the vehicle, hopefully we'll see some of that rubber start to deflate there. So he's continuing northbound past Paradise Cove at a high rate of speed now, and they are, how far back are they now? They were really close on his tail. They are still pretty close, but he is picking up steam here, and unfortunately, well, it's unfortunate because he was traveling much slower. Again, we just want to see this end as safely as possible. Hopefully they could bring this to a peaceful resolution, but right now that driver is now agitated, and he is definitely stepping on the gas pedal as he tries to evade these law enforcement officers. LA County Sheriff with a knife. I'm sorry? Winding way. Copy that. Copy that. Copy that. All right. Oh no! Oh no! Right into cross traffic, and the driver loses control right into the hillside there at a major intersection. That's going to be Canaan Doom Road, and the driver is now jumping out of the vehicle. There's two kids inside that vehicle. Okay. He's running. He's on the run. They're going to chase him up this embankment here. There are children inside that vehicle. We'll go back just a second. Right now, we're going to stick with the driver. California Highway Patrol chasing the suspect up the embankment as he runs for his life here up the hillside on the west side into an apartment complex right along PCH at Canaan Doom Road. I'll show the kids real quick, and then we'll go back to the suspect. The kids are being removed from the vehicle. You can see this violent crash scene at the end of Canaan Doom Road at PCH. A violent crash, the vehicle losing control after crashing into, oh no. Somebody is holding that child on the side of the road. At least one child now. I believe there were two. There was a report of children at the outset of this pursuit. To the best of our information, there were at least two kids, but we have a visual now of one child being tended to. No ambulance on site yet, on scene. It looks like perhaps an innocent bystander attending to that child who is moving to be the southbound side of PCH. The entire highway has now been shut down, and you can see there is somebody else, it looks like, inside. Oh, there's a sheet. Oh, God. Be the southbound side of PCH. The entire highway has now been shut down, and you can see there is somebody else, it looks like, inside. Oh, there's a sheet. Oh, God. It looks like the airbags were deployed in there. You've got one child in a red shirt being tended to by an innocent bystander there, or a Good Samaritan, I should say. And you have another vehicle, the vehicle that he crashed into, with an unknown number of occupants or injuries. So this is taking a disturbing turn here. We do not know the fate of the other child at this point. There is now a manhunt going on for the suspect who is hiding out in private property in Point Doom. A major crash scene here at the end of Canaan Doom and PCH. They are anxiously awaiting more backup here. And, of course, LA County Fire Department on the way out here. We're going to come around here and get the best angle we can, but it looks like they're going to perhaps use the jaws of life here. It looks like there's a rescue that's about to take place here. There's a rescue operation in progress, perhaps to reach that child. You can see the jaws of life as they try and hold that door open. I'm not sure. Maybe they may try and cut the roof off here. Not sure. Maybe cut a belt out. I don't know what they're dealing with inside that vehicle. This is just a heartbreaking scene. That child clearly in pain, holding on to somebody here as they wait for an ambulance. It's a baby seat. They just pulled a baby seat out of the rear of the vehicle. It looks like the boy along the side of the road may be the boy that was in the front seat, and now they've pulled a child seat out of the rear of this vehicle. Oh boy, this is tough to watch. It looks like where? Okay, there he is. There's the passenger. There's the passenger. Okay, so the passenger is actually now being escorted out of the vehicle. He is walking. He appears to be okay, and perhaps the child in the red shirt maybe was in the child seat, or perhaps there may be even more than two children. We don't know. Is there a baby in the seat, or is that seat empty, Rob? Do you know? Can you see if there's any? They would be tending to the baby. If there was a baby in there, they would have somebody. Is he talking to a child inside that baby seat? There is a child. There's three children here. There's a child, a toddler. There's a toddler in the child seat, and two other children being tended to. So they've now appeared to have rescued three children from this car. The child in the red shirt clearly in pain. They've escorted another child from the passenger seat. That's the child that we saw through the windshield, and now a toddler in that child seat that has now been freed from the rear of the vehicle. So 3 children now in the process of being rescued. Fire department on scene. California Highway Patrol with the entire highway shut down. PCH now shut down at Kane and Doom. And it appears, by all accounts, all 3 children are alive and breathing. A major crash scene here. There's another vehicle involved. We do not know how many occupants were inside of that vehicle or what the extent of the injuries were. The driver of this stolen vehicle, who does not know these children apparently, ran straight up that embankment into a field in Point Doom and has now disappeared in a neighborhood in Point Doom. Okay, California Highway Patrol, perhaps with a lead here as they try, or sheriff, is that sheriffs? No, those are chippies. California Highway Patrol running back to their vehicles here, perhaps with some more information here, but he was right in this neighborhood. It was the last time we saw him here at Portshed Road at Boniface Drive in Point Doom. You could see a flood of law enforcement in this neighborhood now. Well, hopefully, we can only hope that maybe a resident saw something and was able to report back on the location of this suspect. But they appear to be focusing on this block right here, which is within proximity of where we last saw him as he climbed through up this embankment and into this neighborhood here. All right, sounds good. All right, you can see southbound traffic on PCH now coming to a standstill. A long line of traffic here as the highway is shut down, still waiting for paramedics as they tend to these children. We have 3 kids who were inside of that vehicle at the time of that violent crash. And again, a driver who did not appear to be harmed at all, escaping the vehicle, running into a neighborhood here in Point Doom. Another vehicle and even a third vehicle that the vehicle crashed into. You can see if you push in on the innocent motorist there, came into contact with another white SUV. And so a total of 3 vehicles, it appears, involved in this crash. He was blowing right through the red light. That cross traffic, that vehicle driving, crossing PCH had the green light and was basically T-boned by the suspect. One detained. Okay. Copy that. Copy that. So some new information just coming in now from the Sheriff's Department. This is from the Sheriff's Department. We do not know if it's the suspect, but one person is being detained at this moment. One person is being detained in Point Doom in the vicinity of where we last saw that suspect. We do not know for sure whether it is the suspect who stole this vehicle and went running up that embankment, but at least one person is now being detained. So that is the information coming from the LA County Sheriff's Department. One person in custody, and they will hopefully get a description in short order here to make sure it is perhaps, with any luck, the right suspect in custody here. Certainly that would put a lot of people at ease here and really simplify things. Without that, they still have a perimeter set up in this neighborhood. We're going to try and confirm that it's the suspect, but right now one person has been detained. 3 children from that vehicle, that stolen vehicle. They were 3 innocent children who happened to be inside the vehicle when the vehicle was stolen. They are all now about to be transported to the hospital. Copy. Copy that. Let me know. Sounds good. Are you hearing a fire chopper coming in? Okay, copy that. As we speak, again, the California Highway Patrol is now working with the Sheriff's Department to try and give us a solid ID of the suspect. We were one of the last ones to actually see that suspect as he ran through the neighborhood here. And so they have an accurate description now to work with, and hopefully we'll have confirmation whether the person being detained here in Point Doom is the driver, that GTA suspect who kidnapped these 3 children. In the meantime, if you're just joining us on abc7.com and our streaming channels, you are looking at the end of what seemed to be a tame chase until it wasn't, and a dramatic crash ending after a stolen vehicle with 3 innocent children inside of the car crashed into another innocent motorist at Cane and Doom Road. This is going to be a person who was inside of that vehicle that you're looking at here now being tended to. It looks like perhaps an elderly person being pulled out of that vehicle here at the intersection. So that person right there was inside of the car near the top of your screen. That was T-boned at the intersection and slammed right into another SUV at the median on PCH at Cane and Doom, which is now all shut down. A major crash scene. 1 person at least inside that vehicle now being tended to. It appears to be an elderly victim. 3 children on their way to the hospital. All 3 children appear to be conscious and breathing. We can breathe a sigh of relief there. We can only imagine that the parents are already on their way to Malibu, because this all started in East LA, and that is where this chase began. That's where it appears the vehicle was stolen from. And you can see a whole contingent of California Highway Patrol units and sheriff's deputies up the road near Port Shed Drive as they search for that suspect. All right, let's go over. We're going to go over in custody. It is the suspect. The suspect is in custody. Confirmation now that the suspect is in custody. That's the word from the LA County Sheriff's Department. We're going to make our way over to the neighborhood there where you see all of those flashing lights and try and get a visual of that suspect now under arrest. We're going to come around these palm trees here, and we're about to get a glimpse of that suspect who is now in handcuffs at Port Shed Road and Boniface Drive. Port Shed Road, Boniface Drive, California Highway Patrol with the suspect in custody. He will now be placed into a patrol car. He will be off to Men's Central Jail here momentarily. A dramatic scene here, fortunately, saving a lot of people a lot of trouble, especially as night falls here in Malibu, from searching for the suspect in the dark and locking down this neighborhood. One way or another, it was not going to end well for this suspect, but finally it does appear that that suspect is now in custody, and the 3 children inside of that car are now on their way to the hospital. Some relieved parents. Hopefully those kids are going to be okay. It was impossible to tell exactly the condition, but they were shaken. One was definitely in pain. Just a dramatic scene here in Malibu on a Friday night after a dramatic crash at PCH and Cane and Doom Road. An incredible end to this pursuit, to say the least, and quite unpredictable, considering that this guy was traveling across the city of Los Angeles from East LA down the 10 freeway at manageable speeds, eventually making his way out to Malibu, or out to Santa Monica and onto PCH, and then was traveling relatively slowly at speeds of around 40 miles per hour. It wasn't until he encountered a spike strip. They tried to deflate the tires, and at that point he really started picking up speed, started blowing through a number of red lights on PCH, and eventually slammed into an innocent motorist at Canaan Doom. And now you can see the end here as they place the suspect in custody. She's saying the same thing, that there's a county helicopter landing somewhere, but yeah. Let me know if you see anything. Yeah, yeah. Oh, you. Are they setting up? Yeah. Right at the right, my right here, about 10 o'clock. Left, I'm sorry, left. Yeah, yeah. Got it. It does appear that air rescue is on the way out here. Every indication is that at least one of the patients will be airlifted out of here, perhaps more than one. Once again, you're looking at PCH at Canaan Doom Road, which is now shut down. A major accident, a major crash at this intersection. There's the elderly victim who was in the other vehicle. She was just traveling across PCH, making the turn onto the southbound side of PCH when that GTA suspect slammed right into the driver's side. You want to come around the other side, or you want to stay here? Copy.
Breaking news at 9, a pursuit on PCH. Police chasing a man who stole a car with 3 children inside, and it all ends in a horrible crash. Good evening, I'm Rutabaga Shabazi. This is KCAL News at 9. An absolutely horrible pursuit and crash tonight in Malibu, and police say it started in East LA when a man stole a car filled with 3 children, including one in a car seat. KCAL News reporter Lauren Posen was on the scene minutes after the crash. Lauren.
Well, right now, tow trucks are trying to clear the scene with all the cars involved in this. You can take a look behind me here. You'll see what I'm talking about. There's a bunch of deputies over at the corner of the road here at PCH, and there's one of the cars that were involved in this collision here. They're trying to get it up on the tow truck. And then over here to the right, the car that's already on the tow truck, that's the one that was involved in this carjacking here. Canaan and PCH at this intersection here is still blocked off. They're not letting cars turn onto Canaan at this point. I want to go to some video now of how we got here. This first video is the last 20 seconds of the chase. It was going up PCH West, and then a horrible collision here at Canaan Doom. The driver, he hit one car, which plowed into another car. Now in this next video, you're going to see shots of this driver just running. He climbs up a hill, then he gallops like a deer, tossing his clothes, jumping over a chain link fence, and then getting caught on some barbed wire. In this next video, it's video from SkyCal, and I want to tell you, SkyCal stayed very wide on purpose. We don't want to show any disturbing scenes. 3 separate kids, one in a car seat, an army of paramedics caring for each, placing them in ambulances. Paramedics also help the people in the cars that were hit. We know one was seriously injured. Now going to this next video, that suspect, after running for 20 minutes, officers arrested him in a nearby neighborhood. His shirt was off, he was in cuffs, and there were tons of police around him. This last video here, LA County Fire dispatched 2 helicopters to take the injured people and set up a landing zone nearby. We believe the 3 children and 1 adult were flown to UCLA Medical Center in Westwood. Now, people in this area say it was pure chaos. Take a listen.
I was heading down to PCH doing a delivery because I'm an Uber Eats driver. And as I was coming back to the Palisades, all hell broke loose.
This is the worst one I've seen in 12 years I'm here. I saw so many accidents, but this one was the worst one.
Yeah, that last man you just heard from, he is the manager of a Gravano Italian restaurant here on the corner, and he was telling me he was in the middle of serving his customers dinner when they heard all the sirens and all these loud sounds coming up PCH here, and everybody just dropped their forks and ran right outside to see what was going on. And then they saw what we're looking at here, this just horrific crash. And as we're finding out more details, people just cannot believe this happened. As far as how long this section is going to be closed off for, we still don't know yet. As you see, the deputy, he is directing traffic, but they're not letting traffic go down PCH at this point. I think once they get these cars out of the way, they're going to sweep up and then perhaps it'll be open again. But as to a timeline for that, we just don't know yet. We're going to continue to stay out here and get more details for you and have an update as soon as we get it. We'll send it back to you in the studio.